One of the things I heard early on in my recovery is that it takes what it takes. Because I would complain and lament that I hadn't addressed the issue of alcohol in my life sooner. And yet it took what it took. And when I was ready, I was ready. And being patient is not something we want change in our life now. And we will pray. And we'll pray about a particular situation. We'll pray about a particular character defect. And God doesn't seem to answer. But maybe in those prayers, what God is waiting for is for us to be ready, that God is more than willing to make the changes and help us with that. But we're really not to the place where we're open and willing to do what needs to be done, that we, as Alcoholics Anonymous in the big book says, we are always seeking a softer, easier way. Can I just take this shortcut? I'm going to be different. Now, while others needed to do it this way, I'm smarter than that, and I'll take this shortcut and get the same results. And my experience has been that's never been true. Psalm 40 is a psalm of someone who has struggled and prayed and sought God and was finally rewarded, that God did make changes and did bring salvation into the psalmist's life. The psalmist starts off in Psalm 40, it finally paid off. God responded. And you might get the idea that, God's been asleep or on vacation. Absolutely not. I think what may have happened, if it's true for me, is that I finally was ready, and then God acted. He reached into my pathetic emptiness and planted objective and purpose. Now I feel like singing. This is a rendition of Psalms Now by Leslie Brandt. If you drop down further in the psalm, it says, our God is not looking for genius. He does not require great talent. He is not charmed by our panic-ridden activity. Whoa. Not charmed by our panic-ridden activity. He simply asks for our faith and our obedience. It is when he turned me from self-seeking to follow his will for my life that I discovered serenity and security. Two things I know I desperately desire is serenity and security. The more I seek it on my terms, and the more I try to will that into my life through my own activity, the more distant security and serenity are. But it's in the surrender, which is an active surrender. It's not laying down and being passive, but it's an opening up and saying, here I am. Do with me as you will. I will be obedient. I will do the legwork. I will do what you're asking me to do, to live into this new space. But that's a very uncomfortable space. As I mentioned last time, that liminal space is very uncomfortable space. And what we tend to do is we get out into that space and we get so uncomfortable that we go back to where we were. And it's when the pain, finally, of going back is so great that we're finally willing to live in the pain and move forward, that the real changes happen in our lives.